Hey gamers, welcome back to another upcoming games video. My name is Jacob and today we're diving into some exciting titles set to release in the week starting November 18th. Stick around until the end and I'll share with you my top 5 most anticipated games from this week. First up, we have Zort, a cooperative multiplayer survival horror game for up to 4 players. If you're a fan of games like Phasmophobia or Devour, this one should be on your radar. What sets Zort apart though are its dynamic map objectives and minigames. Each playthrough brings new puzzles and challenges, replacing predictable tasks with fresh twists that should demand creative problem solving, with the aim of making sure no 2 sessions are the same and keeping the horror experience unpredictable and engaging. Another standout feature is Zort's in-game atmospheric voice filters, which adapt to your surroundings. This is meant to add a chilling layer of immersion and make communication feel hauntingly real as you navigate its eerie environments. Developed by Clawler Software, Zort launches in early access on Steam on November 19th. The second game is Summa Expeditionis, a survival and strategy game set in Roman times. The game has you starting as a lowly legionnaire working their way up and features their usual survival staples such as resource gathering and base building. However, the game stands out with strategic elements like managing soldiers and outposts and engaging in combat and diplomacy. Plus, it features a campaign-driven narrative as well. Summa Expeditionis recently wrapped up its Kickstarter and launches in early access on Steam on November 20th. Next up, let's dive into RAM, Random Access Mayhem, a chaotic top-down action roguelike shooter that flips the usual formula on its head. Instead of controlling one character, you're a bodiless AI with the power to hijack enemy robots. That's right, every enemy on the screen could be your next playable character. There are 8 unique robot types to take over, each with its own playstyle, weapons and abilities, so you're constantly adapting your strategy as you play. The game leans into classic roguelike tropes like procedurally generated levels and per death, but it adds its own flair. As you fight your way through hordes of enemies, you'll earn a score called Fitness by pulling off trick shots and stylish moves. That score isn't just for bragging rights, it's your in-game currency for buying upgrades that can totally change how your robots play. Think faster firing rates, better mobility, or even special abilities. Strategy is key because these upgrades are bot specific, so you'll want to plan ahead. RAM, Random Access Mayhem, is being developed by Xylem Studios and hits Steam Early Access on November 18th. The next game I want to present is ICBM Escalation, a grand real-time strategy game and sequel to 2020's ICBM. This game takes you through global conflict from the 1950s into the near future with both conventional and nuclear warfare. You'll evolve your arsenal through research, starting with early Cold War technology all the way to stealth warships and space-based weapons. There's also a diplomacy system where you can negotiate ceasefires, broker deals, form international treaties, and even ban specific weapons. The game offers 4 different solo game modes, from fast-paced blitz matches to an in-depth campaign, and there's competitive multiplayer for up to 10 players with an ELO ranking system too. ICBM Escalation launches on PC via Steam on November 21st. Let's talk about Atlyss next, an online open-world action RPG that offers both single-player and multiplayer modes. The game has a nostalgic vibe with stylized graphics reminiscent of games from the Dreamcast or GameCube. In the game, you create your character by picking one of 5 races, like the bird-like Birdless or the sneaky Chanks, each with unique skills and loads of customization options. From there, you begin as a novice and, at level 10, you get to choose your class, fighter, bandit or mystic, each with its own playstyle and abilities. Combat is all about strategy, with 7 weapon types and a skill loadout system to create builds that fit your vibe. And there's plenty to do, quests, exploring, upgrading your gear, you name it. The game is being developed by solo dev Kisef and is coming to Steam in an early access version on November 23. Next up, we've got Mercury Abbey, a beautifully crafted pixel art 2D side-scrolling mystery puzzle adventure. It's set in a world inspired by classic mystery novels, but adds a fun twist. Its characters are anthropomorphic animals, giving it a unique and fresh vibe. You'll play as 2 protagonists, Harrod, a novelist struggling with writer's block, and his curious little nephew Willie. Together, they'll explore the eerie Mercury Abbey, an estate shrouded in mist and filled with secrets, puzzles, and lurking dangers. Along the way, you'll meet a fascinating cast of characters who not only enrich the story, but also provide vital clues to unravel the mansion's mysteries. The game is all about atmosphere, storytelling, and character interaction. perfect for anyone who loves narrative-driven puzzle adventures with a touch of whimsy and suspense. Developed by UT Games, Mercury Abbey is set to release on Steam on November 21st. Next, let's dive into Incantation, a bone-chilling first-person horror mystery game that takes inspiration from the hit 2022 Taiwanese horror film of the same name. Developed by Soft Star Entertainment and Timid Cat Studio, this game expands on the movie's dark lore, dropping you into a terrifying world filled with cult secrets and supernatural horrors. You play as a mother searching for her missing daughter, leading you to the sinister Chen village. This isn't your average spooking setting though, it's steeped in ancient curses, eerie rituals, and a suffocating atmosphere of dread. Your goal? Uncover the truth behind the cult and the malevolent forces controlling the village. Gameplay is all about immersion. You'll explore hauntingly detailed environments like crumbling temples and ritual chambers, while piecing together clues that lead to your daughter. Along the way, you'll solve intricate puzzles that demand sharp observation and logical thinking. Releasing on Steam on November 18th, Incantation is perfect for fans of narrative-driven horror games that deliver both fear and depth. Let's take a look at Supervive, a free-to-play multiplayer game from Theorycraft Games. Blending elements of MOBAs, battle royales and hero shooters, it offers chaotic, fast-paced combat on dynamic skybound battlegrounds. You'll pick from 16 unique hunters at launch, each with their own abilities, like a mecha-suited pirate or a flame-throwing fox. Gameplay focuses on mobility, as you glide, jump and customize your build mid-match by collecting powers and gear. Modes include squads and duos battle royale, 4 vs 4 arena battles and solo challenges. Supervive is launching its open beta on November 20th for PC via Steam. Next, let's explore Follow the Meaning, a surreal point-and-click adventure developed by Hiking Mind Studio and published by Second Maze. In this hand-drawn game, you step into the shoes of Detective Paul Trilby, summoned to a peculiar island town divided by a wall and dominated by a mysterious hospital. Residents are admitted and return without their memories, hinting at a sinister conspiracy. Inspired by classics like Samorost and the Rusty Lake series, the game challenges you to use wit, curiosity, and lateral thinking to solve puzzles, aided by the quirky citizens you meet along the way. The atmospheric soundtrack enhances the game's whimsical world building with a sinister undertone. If you're a fan of short, strange, and satisfying adventures, mark your calendars for November 22nd, when the game will release on PC via Steam. Let's delve into Dungeon Clawler next, a quirky roguelike tech builder with a fun, unique mechanic. You play as a rabbit who's had their paw stolen by an evil dungeon lord. Armed with a mechanical claw, you'll navigate dangerous dungeons, fight enemies, and collect treasures to reclaim what's yours. The game stands out by mixing deck building strategy with a claw machine mechanic. You'll build a deck to take on enemies, and then you'll use your claw to grab items and power-ups during runs. There are good luck charms that can drastically change your playstyle, and pachinko-style machines where a bit of luck could score you powerful rewards. It all comes together in a unique blend of strategy, skill, and a little chaos. With a lineup of different characters, mysterious treasures, and plenty of challenges, Dungeon Clawler is perfect for fans of roguelikes and deck builders who like the game's quirky style. It launches on November 21st on PC via Steam. Next, let's take a closer look at Luma Island, an upcoming life sim that blends familiar gameplay elements with some fresh ideas. At its core, this game offers everything you'd expect from the genre: farming, crafting, and upgrading your home. You'll start with a cozy caravan and gradually transform it into a grand manor, all while helping quirky island locals with quests and building relationships. On top of that, there's fishing, tool upgrades, and resource gathering, giving you plenty of ways to settle into the island lifestyle. But where Luma Island stands out is in its unique features. The game introduces explorable ancient temples filled with puzzles and traps, adding a sense of adventure not often seen in life sims. There's also a profession system where you can choose from 7 specializations, like miner or crafter, each with its own progression path. And let's not forget the magical Lumas, adorable creatures you can collect, adding a whimsical and fantastical element to the experience. Luma Island is being developed by Feel Free Games and will release on November 20th for PC via Steam. If you're into life sims but want a mix of cozy gameplay and adventurous exploration, this one might be worth keeping an eye on. Let's delve into Toads of the Bayou, an upcoming game that blends turn-based tactics with roguelike deck building. In this title, you lead a group of toads trapped in a cursed bayou, aiming to defeat the evil Baron Samedi and cleanse the corruption. The gameplay revolves around strategic grid-based combat, where you control different toads, each with unique traits and abilities. You'll build a deck combining tactical movement and combat cards, creating synergies to effectively counter the Baron's forces. Beyond combat, you'll manage and expand your settlement within the bayou. Construct buildings like the Garrison, Witch's Hut, and Armory to house allies who grant unique abilities and cards, enhancing your deck and providing strategic advantages. Toads of the Bayou is being developed by Lagrange and is set to release on November 19th for PC via Steam. If you're a fan of tactical strategy games with a unique twist, this one needs to be on your radar. Next, let's talk about Rogue Command, an interesting take on real-time strategy games with a twist of roguelike mechanics. Developed by the two-person indie studio Fennec, this game keeps the core RTS elements, like building bases, managing resources and leading units, but adds some fresh ideas to the mix. What sets it apart is its use of roguelike features. After each battle, you're given blueprint cards that unlock new buildings, units or upgrades, which lets you experiment with different strategies every run. The deck building system also plays a big role in shaping how you approach each session, offering flexibility to tailor your strategy as you go. If you've been looking for something that combines classic RTS with modern mechanics, Rogue Command might be worth a look. It's heading to Steam Early Access on November 18th, so it'll be interesting to see how it evolves with player feedback. Next, let's take a closer look at Strinova, a tactical third-person shooter with an anime-inspired style and an intriguing gameplay element. Developed by iDream Sky, the game features a unique stringification mechanic that lets you switch between 2 and 3D forms during combat. This isn't just a visual gimmick, it's a strategic tool with both advantages and drawbacks. When you activate stringification, your character flattens into a 2D form, which allows you to slip through tight spaces, avoid certain environmental hazards, and outmaneuver enemies in creative ways. However, the trade-off is that you lose access to some of your weapons and abilities while in this form, making you more vulnerable if you don't time your switches carefully. On the flip side, the 3D form gives you full access to your arsenal and skills, but leaves you more exposed to enemy fire. Balancing when to switch forms becomes a key part of mastering the game. With a variety of maps, modes like Demolition and Team Deathmatch, and a cast of unique characters, each with their own abilities and weapons, there's plenty to experiment with. Strinova launches on November 21st for PC via Steam, with console and mobile versions planned for 2025. If you're into shooters with tactical depth and innovative mechanics, this one might just be worth a look. Next, let's dive into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, the newest entry in the series set to launch on November 19th. This version builds on the 2020 game with some big upgrades and new features. One of the highlights is the all-new career mode, where you can take on roles like aerial firefighter, search and rescue pilot, air ambulance operator, or even a crop duster. It's a fresh way to explore aviation beyond standard flights. The environmental simulation has also been massively improved, with detailed ground surfaces, wildfires, tornadoes, and even animal migrations adding dynamic realism. You'll also get to fly new aircraft like gliders, hot air balloons, and the Airbus Beluga for oversized cargo missions. With an upgraded physics engine, better avionics, and a smaller 30GB installation size thanks to cloud streaming, it's more accessible than ever. So whether you're a seasoned pilot or a newcomer, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 offers a more immersive and diverse flying experience. It's coming to PC and Xbox, so fellow armchair pilots, mark your calendars. At number 5 in my top 5 upcoming games this week is Loco Motive, a point-and-click adventure that feels like a love letter to the old LucasArts classics like Monkey Island or Day of the Tentacle. The game is set on a luxurious 1930s steam train and plays out like a comedic spin on Murder on the Orient Express. You'll navigate a murder mystery packed with quirky characters, puzzles, and unexpected twists. What's cool is you'll switch between 3 playable characters, a lawyer, a detective, and an amateur sleuth, all trying to prove their innocence. The humor is sharp, the puzzles are clever, and the pixel art style brings a big dose of nostalgia. It's lighthearted, witty, and clearly crafted for fans of classic adventures. Loco Motive is coming to PC and Nintendo Switch on November 21st. It's one I'm keeping an eye on, and if you grew up loving LucasArts adventures, you probably should too. At number 4 in my top 5 upcoming games this week is Towers of Aghasba, an ambitious open-world game that mixes city building, exploration, and ecosystem restoration in a visually stunning fantasy setting. The premise is simple yet compelling. You're tasked with rebuilding a civilization on a vast and mystical island, balancing the needs of your people with the delicate ecosystems around you. It's not just about constructing sprawling villages, it's also about restoring the land, forming relationships with mythical creatures, and uncovering the secrets of a long-lost world. What really sets this game apart is its gameplay mechanics. You can design intricate settlements that integrate into the environment, planting forests or revitalizing landscapes to attract creatures back into the wild. It's not just building for survival, it's building to breathe life into a world. The promise of blending creativity with exploration is a big part of why this game stands out. Then there's the visual aspect. The world of Towers of Aghasba is breathtaking, with massive landscapes, dynamic lighting, and intricate details that make every corner of the map feel alive. It's one of those games where you'll want to stop and just take in the view. The Towers of Aghasba is coming to Steam Early Access on November 19th, and it's definitely one to watch if you're into creative world building and exploration with a unique twist. At number 3 in my top 5 upcoming games this week is Dimensionals, a turn-based roguelike RPG that combines a striking comic book art style with superhero characters. Developed by Mino Games, it offers a mix of strategic depth and vibrant visuals that really stand out. In the game, you'll collect and level up a roster of heroes, each with unique abilities and backstories. The deck building mechanic lets you combine skills to create powerful combos, adding depth to the tactical combat as you plan your way through challenging encounters. The comic book art style enhances the experience with dynamic animations and voice-acted cutscenes that make each battle feel like it's straight out of a superhero comic. Paired with roguelike gameplay, it's easy to see why this one caught my attention. Dimensionals launches in early access on November 18th for PC via Steam. If you like roguelike deck builders and superhero vibes, this is one to watch. At number 2 in my top 5 upcoming games this week is Forgotten but Unbroken, a turn-based tactics game that blends strategic depth, character building, and a grounded historical setting. Developed by Centurion Developments, the game draws clear inspiration from XCOM, one of the most iconic games in the genre and also the reason why it caught my eye. Set during World War II, you lead a band of resistance fighters rising up against Nazi forces. The turn-based combat will feel familiar to XCOM fans, with an emphasis on careful positioning, cover, and using your squad's abilities to outmaneuver enemies. Every decision matters, whether it's when to push forward or how to deal with overwhelming odds. Where the game really aims to stand out, though, is the character building. You'll recruit and train resistance fighters, each with their own strengths, weaknesses, and backstories. As you develop their skills, customize their equipment, and send them on missions, you'll feel a strong connection to your squad. The focus on personalizing your team should make every choice in combat even more impactful, because you're not just moving pawns, you're leading individuals with histories and personalities. The game also tries to capture the desperation and grit of the World War II setting, adding a layer of emotional weight to the gameplay. Missions have to be more than just tactical challenges, they should feel like key moments in a larger fight for survival and freedom. If the game can fulfill its promise of deep tactical combat, detailed character building, and an engaging historical backdrop, Forgotten but Unbroken could shape up to be a standout for fans of turn-based strategy games. If you've been eager for a new XCOM-inspired adventure with a unique historical and personal touch, get ready. It's arriving on PC on November 18th.
The zone was never a friendly place.
At the top of my watch list for this week is S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, Heart of Chornobyl, the long-awaited sequel to the cult classic post-apocalyptic series. Developed by GSC Game World, this game dives deep into survival, exploration, and moral decision-making, all set in the hauntingly atmospheric Chernobyl exclusion zone. The story centers on your character, a stalker navigating a mysterious and dangerous zone, a place warped by a second Chernobyl disaster. The zone is filled with mutated creatures, dangerous anomalies, and rival factions, but also holds the promise of valuable artifacts and untold secrets. As you delve deeper, you'll uncover a plot tied to the zone's strange power and its connection to humanity's survival. Along the way, your choices will shape the story, leading to multiple branching endings. The gameplay combines intense first-person combat with immersive survival mechanics. You'll scavenge for supplies, craft items, and manage your inventory carefully, as every bullet and medkit counts. The dynamic AI ensures every encounter feels unpredictable, whether you're dealing with mutant attacks, faction firefights, or the deadly anomalies scattered across the landscape. One of the standout features is the breathtaking world design, powered by the Unreal 5 engine. The zone feels alive, with weather systems, day and night cycles, and eerie abandoned structures that tell their own stories. The tension builds as you explore, with the constant threat of danger making every step forward feel earned. What's exciting is that S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 also emphasizes player choice. Your decisions affect not just your character, but also the world around you, shaping alliances, betrayals, and the overall fate of the zone. And with full mod support promised post-launch, the community will keep this world evolving long after release. Launching on November 20th for PC and Xbox Series X and S, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 Heart of Chernobyl promises an unforgettable mix of survival, exploration, and storytelling. If you're a fan of immersive post-apocalyptic adventures, this is a must-play. And that wraps up this week's upcoming games list. From quirky adventure games over strategic roguelikes to immersive survival epics, there's a lot to look forward to. Which one are you most excited for? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts. In any case, thanks for watching, and as always, see you next week in the next video.